The Lubbock County Democratic Party. And the reason we called this press conference today is because the Lubbock County Democratic Party yesterday issued a press release calling for County Judge Tom Head to resign, given his remarks on KJTV 34 the other day. We've since then received many questions about what can be done about Judge Head. He is not up for re-election until 2014. And we will have a Democratic candidate to oppose him at that time if he's still in office. We cannot recall him. Recall elections are not available under Texas law for county judge candidates, or county judges, excuse me. Many individuals have called me and told me that they've filed an online complaint form with the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, and I do want to encourage individuals to continue to file those forms online with the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. Don't know what the result of filing those forms will be, but it's worth a shot. More importantly though, there is a public meeting to comment on the budget at the Lubbock County Courthouse this coming Monday at 10 a.m. and I want to encourage everybody in Lubbock, Democrat, Republican, Independent, who is concerned about Judge Head's remarks to attend this meeting and make your voices heard as part of the budget process. We do have a Democratic candidate, Bubba Cedeno, for County Commissioner Precinct 3, coming up this November. Cedeno's Republican opponent is cut from the same Tea Party cloth that Judge Head has shown us the other day. So electing Bubba Cedeno in November will help to fight the extremist views of Judge Head on the Commissioner's Court. And on top of that, I just want to say that Judge Head's paranoid fantasy of a United Nations invasion has captured the attention of the whole world, unfortunately. We're on front page of CNN, we're in The Guardian in London, and like it or not, County Judge Tom Head's right-wing extremism is the poster child for Lubbock, Texas right now. So, disease of the mind has taken control of the Republican Party. Judge Head would rather have an imaginary conversation with our sheriff to prepare for United Nations tanks invading Lubbock County than do the serious work that preparing a county budget requires. The obsession with conspiracy theory has taken control of the Republican Party. For example, Texas Republican Senate candidate Ted Cruz campaigned heavily on the idea, this nonsense theory, that United Nations Agenda 21 will somehow take away our guns and cancel the Second Amendment. And he won the Republican primary with that argument. He and Judge Head are in the same company. Even GOP presidential candidate Mitt Romney has been critical of the United Nations. He once took the extreme position that the U.S. should withdraw from the peacekeeping organization that it founded. So the Republican Party uses conspiracy theories to exploit people's fear so that they can remain in office and exploit them. And Judge Head's remarks, once again, have embarrassed Lubbock on a global scale. Again, it's not the first time. And he should do the right thing and resign immediately. So, at this time, I'm open to your questions. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Betsy Blaney with the Associated Press. What exactly have the people who have called you told you they are putting in their complaints to the Judicial Commission? What laws has Judge Head allegedly violated?
Well, I mean, there's the impartiality of judges. That's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it is that his elaborate and intricately detailed, by the way, fantasy of this UN invasion pits us against the United States president. And so, you know, some people are suggesting, is that sedition? I don't know. But again, these are individual efforts to file these forms, and I do want to encourage anyone that is concerned about his remarks to file those forms with the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about Judge Head's right to freedom of speech?
Well, freedom of speech is one thing, but when you're in an elected office, especially with a judicial component, as Judge Head is, you have a greater responsibility. than just spouting off with the latest conspiracy theory from the Eagle Forum.
Has there any action being taken beyond the political one? Perhaps legal?
Well, not to my knowledge. Most of the calls I've gotten have been asking about a recall petition, and again, that's not available in this case. But again, making our voices heard on Monday will be important, and filing those forms will be important. And beyond that, I don't, just my gut feeling, I don't think he will resign, but he should.
Mr. Ketner, Judge Head came out and used this to try to justify a tax increase. The Democratic Party has never opposed any of these tax increases until now. Why would you all of a sudden take an interest in something that is basically, it's been off your radar for 6 years? I'm the only one that went down there and complained about these higher taxes, and then now you want to throw politics into the arena when you and your people have never opposed a property tax increase in the last 10 years, sir.
Well,
why is it all of a sudden you took an interest in this?
Well, we're taking an interest because of the remarks he made the other day about the reason he's concerned about getting this tax increases for a United Nations invasion. I mean, these are crazy remarks, and it sounded like he might be threatening our president as part of that, and that's why we're concerned. I mean, we should be having this adult discussion about the budget that you're talking about, whether it's appropriate to have a property tax increase, whether we need 7 new sheriff's deputies and raises at the DA's office. I mean, these are legitimate questions we should be asking. And I'm not offering a position either way on that issue. The issue is that that's instead been taken over by this crazy United Nations theory.
You mentioned,
Go ahead.
the legal, did you say the Eagle Forum? Is there something that he's?
Well, if you'll recall, I don't remember if it was 08 or 09, when Judge Head's previous postings at the Lubbock County Courthouse got him in hot water publicly. He had, yes, the pictures of the mug shots of people wearing Obama t-shirts, which was extremely offensive. But he also included postings at that time, and not a lot of people remember this, of Eagle Forum threads, message boards, talking about one world government and is the UN going to take over everything. And my question to County Judge Tom Head is, how many conspiracy theories have to go by and be proven false for you to quit believing in conspiracy theories?
The word I used was legal, not evil. And I think this transcends political.
It's something new entirely, perhaps, yes.
I believe I read that Judge Head used the terms that we need to take him out.
That's what I saw.
And when a person like Judge Head, who is the designated Homeland Security chief and has weapons available, does that concern the Democratic Party?
Absolutely.
And as a threat to the United States president?
Well, absolutely, and the people I feel the most sorry for are moderate Republicans who are caught in the crossfire of this. Poor Mark Heinrich the other day on that interview, being up there with Judge Head. I think he might have been deer in the headlights. But so that this, like you said, transcends the political. It should be something that concerns anybody. Whenever there's this elaborate fantasy about sheriff's deputies facing off against United Nations tanks in Lubbock County. So.
Andy Sinclair with the AJ. What is your response to the explanation that Judge Head gave that his remarks were just an example of what he would consider the worst case scenario as Director of Emergency Management?
Well, I mean, you may as well consider a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion as the worst case scenario. I mean, it's just totally unrealistic. And I'm all for emergency preparedness. We need emergency planning, but it needs to be done realistically and, plan for actual emergencies that would happen, not some elaborate fantasy. Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to add, I think when you're asking people for a property tax increase and you're wrapping it around the fact that we need to take up arms and go get him out, I applaud the person that did go to the meeting and asked him, you know, what part of that tax increase are you gonna use to take Obama out of office? I mean, it's
Well,
ridiculous.
and his worst case scenario, quote unquote, is what's going to happen in November when President Obama is reelected. So that's concerning too. He doesn't think of it as some remote possibility like an alien invasion or a zombie apocalypse. He thinks this could really happen.
Yes, Roger Settler with the bystander. Do you believe that citizens should be encouraged to try to persuade legislators to create the ability to recall state and county officials and perhaps initiative and referendum as well?
I've always been a strong believer in initiative and referendum and the power of petition, including recall petitions. I think, frankly, I was kind of surprised when I did my research on this that Texas doesn't have that option for county offices, but it is what it is. Yes, sir.
Mr. Ketner, have you talked with Carl Pepper about this problem to try to express to him that this is a Republican problem and he needs to get this mess cleaned up over there?
I think that's a good point, and
I mean,
I think the Republican Party has to do some soul searching now and say, is this the face of the Republican Party? You know,
well, has the Democratic Party come up with a list of potential Republicans to hand to Carl and say, we wouldn't object to, say, Cecil Purrier or David Nelson?
We're not
talking
interfering
about.
with their party business. They
Well,
can handle that themselves. But I would encourage Carl, and we're friends, we talk. I would encourage Carl to take a look at what's going on in his party, and is it being taken over by this radical element. Anyway, thanks, and I'll hang around for a while, and if anyone wants to ask me questions, I'll be available. Appreciate everyone coming.